The year 2021. President Donald J. Trump is sworn in at his second inauguration. Those who love America celebrate the victory, while those who oppose this great nation melt down.
Okay, I've got you, sir. Call the Minty. We need...
The Magnificent Seven.
Majority is the children, the most vulnerable among us. Just like
Strange Animal.
Mostly elderly white people outside. We're kneeling on the ground with our hands up.
Shap Hero.
Man, can't even enjoy a meal now. We got a bunch of bums running into the restaurant. So forget the glass and stuff.
Dr. Savage.
The Journal today published a searing piece about the coming exodus of
The Ingrahammer.
Oh, actually, I do. I split my skull open and I take half of it out and I put it behind my back.
El Rushbo.
Take you seriously as someone who wants to be involved in the public conversation.
Deadhead.
If you ever need to find it, all you have to do is look up.
And Dean Cain as the American Avenger. The Magnificent Seven.
I just really feel like we should end it there. Dean Cain as the American Avenger. Dean Cain for the first time ever on my show. Welcome.
Happy to be here, Mike. Thanks for having me, brother.
Thanks for coming on, man. So stoked. Tell us first, how you doing, bro? How you doing? How you enjoying your time off from reality?
It's been, I hesitate to say it, but because it's been so comfortable and good for me, I realize we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I know, and it's affected some people that I know, and it's awful. Yeah, and it's terrible. But from a personal standpoint, I've been able to be home, which I love being home almost more than anything, and I've been able to rest and exercise and spend time in my house, and I haven't done that in years. And my son has been back from college, so he's been doing it with me. So we've been relaxing, working out, playing a lot of games. My son's a gamer, and just having a blast.
What's his favorite game?
Right now, he's Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Dude, I played that thing for 10 years straight. I don't know how much of my life I sucked into it, but
he's doing that now. Sometimes it's League of Legends, sometimes it's Fortnite. He's gone through, we played World of Warcraft a lot when he was growing up. It just goes back and forth. It just depends. But I game with him. So if he's not here, I'm not gaming. Yeah,
I would play with the kids too. And gosh, I wish I had more time to game, but gosh, I've been so crazy busy, Well,
you created the Magnificent Seven. Come on.
I've been busy creating the Magnificent Seven. And Dean, I cannot thank you enough for all the help you've given me promoting it, agreeing to be a part of it. Just so stoked, dude. Sorry I got dude, you have a hard for someone who looks so much like me. Why are you so hard to capture on paper?
Come on, man. I don't know. It's that
crazy.
It just mixes it up. And
I think it's because I was trying harder to get you right than anybody, and I just kept screwing it up. But
look pretty good to me.
I think I got there a couple of the times. Likenesses aren't my best. They're not my forte, but I do what I can. This doesn't exactly look like Steven Crowder.
I know Crowder well, and that's the way I see him. So, that's it. Once you're in your superhero guys, you don't have to so much look like yourself.
True.
That's kind of the idea, isn't it? Jeez.
Yeah. Jalapeno milk for $2 is Dean confirmed gamer.
Oh, definitely confirmed gamer.
Yeah. You know what? I hate to start this on a downer note, but we lost another Cain today. Herman Cain. Did you know the man?
Yeah. We jokingly always, he started it, so I figured it was okay if he started it to call me my brother from another mother. And such a warm, wonderful man with such an incredible life that he had lived, and just a huge loss for us, because he was just a wonderful, wonderful man, and a great example. And look, none of us are perfect. People go, well, listen, you can say that about anybody. I think he was a wonderful.
No, I don't believe any of that stuff.
Guy. I mean,
all that stuff vanished as soon as he dropped out of the race. Puff of smoke.
Listen, if I ever run for anything, I'm sure they'll come up with make up some things about me too.
That's one of my questions. Don't get ahead of me.
Roger that.
If you're gonna run for something. No, but that's part of the whole, man, this past 20 years, all this cancel culture crap. And
if you know anything about me, and I know you do, I can't stand cancel culture.
Yeah.
Listen, there's lots of guys and girls and folks in my business whose politics I don't like at all, but who I can still enjoy on a film. I can appreciate how good they are at their craft, and I do. I just happen to disagree with them politically, and I don't hold that against them. I would rather engage with them and have a conversation about it, as opposed to canceling them.
Yeah. I've seen that video of you and Tom Arnold. That's
Listen, I think something's wrong with Tom. I like Tom. I think he's really talented. But, I mean, clearly something's going on. And he says really inflammatory stuff. And it must be to get attention, I guess. But I feel bad for him. You can't go around calling people racist and, Japanese guys white supremacists. And you can't do that. Fake Christians. You can't do that stuff and expect to keep your teeth.
It's honestly, people make jokes about it, but I literally think Trump derangement syndrome is a real psychological thing.
I guarantee it.
People broke, man. My the mother of my niece, after all this stuff happened, she emailed me. She was like, "I'm afraid of you." I'm like, "What?" What? I'm not. I'm exactly. It's just because I support Trump. Suddenly, I'm someone worthy of fear. I've practically raised her daughter. It's like.
Well, the weird thing about that is people don't like to argue policy. They want to argue about President Trump and his character and the way he speaks and the things he says and what he tweets. I want to talk policy. What policy are we talking about?
Yeah.
I happen to like the guy personally. I know him, and he's hysterically funny. He's got a dry wit, and he plays 3D chess in a way, and he handles the media and this stuff 4D in ways that I've never seen. Whenever they want to argue about him, I just go, look, let's talk policy.
Yeah.
Talk policy. If you want to put Joe Biden on one side here and talk his policy, great. And we'll put President Trump here, talk policy, and we'll see where we fit. You see some of these things on, whether it's campus reform or somebody, they go out and they throw out policies to people. Does this sound reasonable? They're like, yeah, completely reasonable. How about this? Oh, no, that sounds terrible. Okay, well, this is President Trump's thing that you think is reasonable. And this is, Joe Biden's thing that you think is completely unreasonable. Yeah. That stuff happens constantly. And I think if people just were able to pull themselves out, and just look at the things objectively, like the way you treated your niece, I guess it is. Look at that objectively as opposed to, who you might support politically. And I think that we'd be in a better place.
Well, here's the problem, Dean. Feelings don't care about facts.
That's the Shapiro.
Yeah.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
That's right. But it's the worst part about that is feelings don't care about facts, because you can inundate. This same woman I was talking about, it's the mother of my niece. They never got married, so it's like
Roger that.
Not my sister-in-law.
Close enough.
We once had the gun control debate, right? And I gave her lists and facts and statistics and all of this stuff, and then at the end she couldn't make an argument, so she's just like, I just don't like guns.
Well, that's fair. Like, you don't have to use them.
That's fair, but that's not an argument for gun control.
Oh, no, it's not. Well, you got to start with it's in the Constitution.
That's right.
And there's a way, if you want to change that, then you got to change the Constitution, amend the Constitution. If you can get that done.
Yeah. And I love that there was a sailor wrote to Thomas Jefferson who penned those very words, and he's like, can I have a cannon on my ship? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. It's like the biggest munition of the time. Can I have one of these on my boat?
Well, then you also hear about, oh my gosh, all they had was a musket and it was made for muskets. But you forget about the puckle gun and all these other guns that existed at the time, all these other arms that existed at the time that could fire multitude of rounds in a very short period of time. So that's a baloney argument. I mean, it's just not true.
Yep, absolutely.
Strange Animal has done some things on that.
Who?
Strange Animal.
Oh, Strange Animal.
Strange Animal. He's done a lot of things on the Second Amendment.
This guy
right there. The guy's right over your shoulder, screaming.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I should announce. Dean, in his generous awesomeness, has agreed to sign 25 additional copies of his American Avenger. What's it like to be the American Avenger, Dean?
I dig it. I dig it. I like to stand for truth, justice, and the American way.
Amen.
And I would say that's what Superman says. But the American Avenger, we need to find a new catchphrase.
Not anymore. And by the way, Tom King, that guy that called you out on Twitter, he's full of crap because you were saying that
Superman couldn't say it.
You couldn't say it. Like,
as Superman.
As the actor, as Superman.
As Superman.
Right. And you couldn't. They took it out of the movie.
He didn't say it. Right. Tom King's like, MF, I wrote that in a panel below. Okay, you didn't. Superman didn't say it, but I don't want to get into a little fight in the mud with Tom. What's his name? Tom King. Tom King. Well, I don't want to get into a roll around the mud with him. I don't need to. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But he came out. Boy, he had some venom coming out. Ease up there, big boy. Ease it up.
Yeah.
Because I made fun of having to wear a mask on a plane, and I wear my mask everywhere, like I'm supposed to. I just made a joke about it. Oh my gosh! Don't you joke about anything? That's terrible.
Yeah. I do. I have a muddy joke, real quick. So Tom, after berating you, my fine Japanese brother, he then went after Jay Lee, who was a legendary comic book artist, for daring to do a comic book cover for what he deems a hate group. Was basically he did a cover for a guy he doesn't like. And so my question to you is, does Tom King hate Asians?
Well, I don't know Tom personally, but that's a tough thing out there. If you get that thing hashtagging, that stuff can happen and trend. I don't know.
It's already a hashtag.
Oh, has it? Okay. See how fast that stuff happens. Look, I don't know how Tom feels about Asians, but I think you should keep it. He's coming out like the opening stanza is firing a cannon as opposed to having a conversation. Right. And I think that woke culture and that whole thing is ridiculous. I think if Superman could say truth, justice, the American way, show it to me. Show me where Superman has said truth, justice, the American way. Now, there are a gajillion different comics about Superman that are out there that I've never seen. I mean, I don't know how many people see the stuff that this guy puts out or what comics go out there. Like, I'm supposed to know what goes out for. I mean, how many people would see something like that? What are the numbers? Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's not millions, is it?
No. You mean comics? Freaking
yeah.
Dude, comics sell crap these days.
Well, so how would I know that he put it in a panel? And I've never seen Superman say truth, justice, the American way. I'll say it all the time because I love that saying, because I stand for those things. I stand for truth, justice, and the American.
Back when you were on Lois and Clark, I was, remember I was on Adventures of Superman at the same time that you were doing that. That's why I was at the Lois and Clark party. I don't know. Anyways,
5 years ago.
Around that time, there was a comic book that came out called from Superman. I think it was Superman 585 or something like that. It was titled "What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way." This was 20 years ago. This was one of my favorite Superman stories ever, and it was just like, that's what this character is about.
I agree 100%. You have the most powerful being on planet Earth, and he lives a very humble life. And who's your favorite Superman, and why is it Henry? That's very funny, Mike. I'll answer that, but he's the most powerful being on the planet, and he's humble, and he uses his power and thing not to subjugate people, not to have all this power, but he uses it to help and do good things for people. And I love that. That's a wonderful lesson in and of itself. Now, my favorite Superman is Christopher Reeve, by far, because he's the first one that I ever saw, and he was the guy I loved. I loved his Superman. I liked the Clark Kent played by George Reeves, though. I liked his version. Yeah. And so I was kind of somewhere in between those two. Henry does a great job, but I think Zack Snyder's world is very dark. And I don't like Superman in that dark world. I don't know that I dislike him, but it's like a different thing. And so I don't love the angsty Superman. I like the Superman who has a glimmer in his eye and a little bit of a smile because he knows he can help.
Yeah, and he's
not throw people through huge buildings and kill thousands at the exact same time.
You know, I actually enjoyed Man of Steel the first time I watched it, but then I started thinking about all of that stuff, and I'm like,
first time he put somebody through a building, I was like, what about all the people? Oops. Flush what I knew about Superman down the toilet there.
Yeah.
They'd have never let me do that. And I appreciate that because I wouldn't have wanted to do that.
When were you into comics as a kid?
Not really. No, I was aware. I mean, Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah.
I thought it was brilliant. But that's about it. I wasn't really a comic person. But, I watched Super Friends and things like that. And Super Friends was awesome. And I liked Superman the most. My brother liked Aquaman. He looks just like me. I don't know why he wanted to be Aquaman with the whatever. From the Super Friends one with like the purple, orange hair. I don't know, whatever. But he liked Aquaman and I liked Superman. I think it still stands that way too.
Right on. I had a question from a fan. Do you think there's a place for Superman in 2020?
Absolutely. I think there could be no better time and place for Superman than right here in 2020. And I would love to see personally a reboot of Lois and Clark where they've aged, our 25 or 27 years and life has gone on and where they are. I think Terry Hatcher was the greatest Lois Lane of all time. I don't think anybody's played it as well ever before or since. And I'd love to see where they are, 25 years later, 27, whatever it is. I'd like them to still be in love and have kids and see what's going on. Because when you're a parent, the world is so different. And Lois Lane was always putting herself in jeopardy, and Superman would come out there, and she would handle herself very well at times as well. But it'd be interesting to see what it's like when you're having to watch out for your kids. It just changed. I don't care how strong you are. When you have children, you are vulnerable. Yeah. Doesn't matter. And you're vulnerable because your heart, man. My son had a little heart murmur when he was a kid, and it turned out fine, to be totally innocent. But I remember how terrified I was, and I drove home that day. He wasn't in the car with me. He was in his car with his mom. And I was driving back toward my house, and I had to pull over and just had a little conversation with God because it hurt me so much to think that he was going to have these problems. And so we had a little conversation. I said, I'm not sure if I can have more kids because you're so vulnerable. And it just murdered me. The pain. And that's why whenever a parent loses a child, I can't even begin to understand that pain. And God bless him. It's just awful.
Yeah, I lost my nephew a few years ago. He was 14 years old. It was that's a weird thing you say that. When I was younger, when I had the first few kids, I've got 5 kids. It was weird. It was like I was so worried, or it was as if I kind of divorced myself because I kept thinking they were gonna die, and it's a weird thing to say, but
but I understand that as a parent.
Yeah, we'd suffered through a miscarriage, and so I don't know. It's like I was just always prepared to and maybe I'm just paranoid because it's like if my wife is out and she doesn't call, I'm like, oh my God, she's dead on the side of a road. It's like
that could also be called vigilance. I don't know.
But so when you said that, I feel what you're saying, man.
It's tough. It's a tough one, and I think that's an interesting thing for the most powerful being on Earth to have that vulnerability. I think it's powerful. I think it's strong.
Yeah. And you don't actually mean the American Avenger as pictured here?
I'm not sure what his powers are 100% yet. We haven't discussed all that yet. So, but I'm really happy to have. See, you could have made it a little more Asian. I'm looking right there. I can see a little more Asian in me. That's looking really very Caucasian.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll try to fix it.
It's the nose. It's the nose. I think it might be the nose.
Yeah?
It might be the nose. I don't know. That's pretty close. It's hard to say. I don't know. Because I can't draw.
Yeah. Apparently I can't either.
At all. I'm not an artist.
So there's my horrible rendition of Dean as the American Avenger. Got a few others. I did try to fix this one.
There you go. That's it. There. You're there.
All right.
With that one, you're there. Maybe it's the face shape. I don't know because I'm not an artist. Again, I don't know how to
Yeah,
but that's cool.
It's tricky. Yeah, I was glad to put you in a similar costume. Some people are saying that's a little too close for comfort.
Really?
But I'm like, it's a parody. It's a parody, right?
Well, that's what people fail to understand is that it's a parody, and
Right.
you're supposed to have a sense of humor about it and a laugh. But boy, people don't like to have a sense of humor these days.
Yeah.
My
And
gosh.
you told me that you couldn't stop laughing after you read the book.
I could, because it's hysterical. It's really funny. It's really funny, and it's clever, and it goes against everything in the sort of the mainstream media and the way everyone's pushing for this woke culture thing. It's I think it's great. This whole wokeness thing drives me nuts because it's where I've been my whole life. I've already been there. It's not, you don't have to tell me. I don't need to see this or hear this. I've already lived it, and I do these things and have done these things my entire life. And it's, to me, it's common sense to do these things, to treat everybody fairly and with respect. That's it. I've never even considered doing anything otherwise, ever. It wouldn't even make sense to me. That's a beautiful shot of Soros. What is it called?
Sorosian.
Sorosian. So you turn him into an Armenian.
I turned him into a lizard person. He's people get a little disturbed that he's sitting on a cage of children, but that's what he does, right? I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't agree with the policies he pushes. I'll put it that way. I like how he is he doesn't have to ever leave his spot. He can just go to the bathroom where he is. I'm assuming that's what that is. But I don't want to assume.
The original, this is the tamed down version because the original version disgusted my wife.
She's like, honey, change that right now.
But yeah, where I'm just like, okay. If my wife doesn't want to see it, I should probably fix it. Dean, what's the most challenging role you have played?
Well, I think, playing Clark Kent and Superman was really challenging. And of course you get into it after years of doing it. But it's very challenging just because of the nature of the role and the massiveness of the role. But on an emotional level, there's been a lot of other ones that were more challenging. Things, that was my daily life. But, doing something like The Way Home, where a kid goes missing and face and muscles 110%. John Wick liked what you did. So I was in this state of mind in this movie, The Way Home, where I've lost a kid and we can't find the kid, and it's his fault. And that was a horrible place. It all took place in one day. That was a horrible place to have to live every day. Your child is gone, and I mean, that was awful. So that was very challenging from a mental perspective. And challenging can be for a million different reasons. I've shot movies in Bulgaria. Lovely, what I like to call terrible B-movie action things that are so bad you would love to watch them. I love to watch those kind of movies, so I love being in them. They're so much fun. And I shot a bunch of those in tough conditions in Bulgaria and places like that. Some of those were pretty challenging just for how you have to live. But I'd say some of my favorite movies that I've ever been a part of, Out of Time, opposite Denzel Washington, my favorite actor, an amazing guy, without a doubt, and so talented. I love the movie called The Broken Hearts Club, in which we all play gay, and half of us were gay and half were not gay. And but it was just a wonderful thing, way ahead of its time. I think 2001. And then I did a Western. My dad's a director. He did, he produced and directed Young Guns and things like that. But I wasn't an actress. And my mom's an actress. She was in that movie as well. But I got to do a Western once, and I really enjoyed the heck out of that. So I wouldn't be afraid of doing a Western either.
Yeah,
but,
I love Westerns. I wish it's like they keep trying to bring it back, but they always just.
Well, when my dad made Young Guns, they said Westerns are already dead. And then
dude, Young Guns is one of my favorites. It's so funny because people are like Tombstone. I'm like, Tombstone's crap. Young Guns, for that era, Young Guns was like my favorite Western.
Well, my dad's a cowboy, so he meant everything that happened. I mean, he cowboyed that thing up. Yeah, and I grew up with all those kids, and none of them could ride. Gosnell.
Yes, thank you for doing Gosnell.
Well said. I was very happy to be part of the film Gosnell and tell that story. And what a story that was. No doubt.
Yeah. Actually, I kind of wanted to touch on that. I want to keep this lighthearted, but at the same time, it's like you and I know that you're ideologically pro-life, but politically pro-choice, right?
Well, yeah. If I were a legislator,
I
wouldn't legislate the option away. Not a
Yeah,
chance.
I'm very much the same. I don't know if you came to the same way as I did, but for me, it was the discovery that abortions are illegal in Brazil, and there's more abortions in Brazil than there are in America. So legislation has nothing to do with stopping abortion. So we have to stop it on a cultural level where we are educating kids and we are educating personally, I know this sounds a little weird, but I think that if you want to go in and get an abortion, you should have to take a class and get a permit, and you should understand everything, plus the repercussions that there's a chance you're going to be suicidal. There's a chance you're going to cause yourself miscarriages in the future. There's a chance you're going to cause yourself sterility, even death, plus a 4D sonogram of the child that you're about to terminate. Like a full scale class. If you got to get a class to get a driver's license, you need a class. Because
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull back from that and say I would say some counseling and some talking to. I wouldn't say a full class. I wouldn't go through the whole bit there. But that's as a person, I like less government, less regulation, less things like that. So but I wouldn't stop someone who felt, if someone's getting like 7 abortions and they're using it as birth control, that's just an awful thing. It's expensive and it's awful and it's terrible, and that shouldn't be the use. If there's other reasons that are involved, if it's rape or incest, or if it's like someone who's very, very young and they just there's so many reasons behind that. I personally, in my life, pro-life all the way, but I've had to deal with this in my life, and it's been a very hard thing on a couple of occasions, and it's just terrible. And I would never wanted that, and for myself or for others, and it's terrible. But I do believe, certainly up until viability, without a doubt. After viability, it's a no for me, and viability is always changing. So that's somewhere around 20 weeks, 24 weeks, which is kind of where a lot of states currently are. And not to get too much on the abortion issue, but I would never legislate it away. Not a chance. And you're right with Brazil. I didn't realize that was the case. But I mean, people are going to do, to borrow Hillary Clinton's words, people will do what they were. No, who said it? No, I'm sorry, Nancy Pelosi. People will do what they'll do. She was talking about rioting, but that was stupid. But I want people to have more freedoms as opposed to less. I don't consider that women's reproductive rights. It's called abortion. Yeah, that's what it is. And I believe that a woman has the right to choose that before viability for a numerous bunch of reasons legally. Whether morally that's something that you want to do, that's a whole different question. And morally, I don't.
That's what I'm saying. I just think with the more information and education that people get, that's where their minds change, and that's the solution. The solution isn't to force people. The solution is to change people's hearts and minds about what is life. DJ Peterson says, is Dean related to Michael Caine?
I love Michael Caine, and he said some of the funniest, smartest stuff about acting that I've ever seen. But no, he spells it with an E. E-I-N-E. So no Michael Caine.
That's the British spelling.
The British spelling. He is phenomenal. And and I love to quote him. There was something he said. He had just been nominated for an Oscar, and then goes and does the thing with Steve Martin or something like that silly comedy. And they're like, why would you go do that after doing this? And he's like, because I'm an actor and that's my job. Actors act.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is one of the best.
But I thought it was great.
Ever.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, but the thing is, it's like, no matter what you do, people think you just sit home and just pick and choose. And there's a million reasons why you might take a job. You're an actor. I mean, do I yell at the trash guy if you're picking up the trash? You did better yesterday. It was different. You wore a different thing. And it's just ridiculous. So actors act, man. Let people do their job. And I try to work. I do big movies, small movies, kids movies, movies with dogs, children. I don't care. They're fun. And it's a good time. And my kid likes it. And you get paid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think I've heard you say that you don't feel like you've been blacklisted.
Well, it's hard for me to say I've been blacklisted. Do I think there's a response to me and my opinions to people? Sure. And maybe there's been a bit of, we're not going to hire him because of his outspoken political views.
All right.
I mean, I don't think I'm that outspoken, and certainly nothing that I say I think is
brother, you stand on your principles.
Of course.
you're
I could do no other thing as a man.
Exactly,
as a human
right.
being. Forget it.
But
so I'm honest and straightforward, but to call me xenophobe or a racist, or it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. I'm a principled person. I stand on my principles, but I'm also an open person and willing and completely tolerant of everything and everybody.
Right.
You don't tell me what I have to do. I'm not going to tell you what you have to do. Don't tell me what I have to do. And so I think it's probably cost me some work. But I think, it's a pendulum. It swings. And right now it's way over to the left. And, you look at people who wouldn't hire me, like a Harvey Weinstein. Harvey wouldn't hire. He never hired me. But I knew Harvey. I never knew any of his antics because I wouldn't stand for that for a second. And I think people know that about me. It's like people, people who do drugs, they don't do them around me because I don't like it.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be met with a happy, they'd be like, let's keep that away from him.
Yeah.
Because he'll speak out against it. Or you pick on somebody in front of me. That's not going to go well. I don't like it. I'm a sheepdog. I'll say something, and that's just the way it is. And, if that cost me some work, so be it.
See, this is why I chose Dean for the role of the American Avenger. Reclaiming my time. By
the way, I love Attorney General Barr.
Oh
He's
my
amazing.
gosh,
He's amazing. He's amazing, and he spanked them around the other day. I've had the chance to meet and speak with him at great length, and he's a very principled guy, super kind. You'd never, he's the Attorney General of the United States. It's a big time guy, and he's so warm and personable when you meet him, and funny. He's got a sharp wit, and you saw it at the hearing the other day. He was good. I mean, can I take a break? And they're like, no, Nadler. I mean, I can't believe you didn't draw Nadler as the Penguin. What the heck? What was that?
I may have to do another book. But
screams it.
That was the most disgraceful display I can remember seeing out of our government,
it was disgusting.
An official hearing, and these guys are just reclaiming my time. I'll give you 2 seconds to answer a 15-minute question.
He said the greatest, though. I thought this was a hearing, and I'm the one who's supposed to be heard.
Right.
But I am. No, everybody wanted just to get up there and berate him because it wins them, that they use that in their re-election campaign.
Yeah. Because, that's why we're trying to defend the courthouse in Portland is for video, for commercials.
I'm a police officer. I'm a reserve police officer in Pocatello, Idaho. I have taken the oath. I've sworn to uphold the Constitution and the laws of Idaho. And everybody, all those federal officers and the things they're doing, bless them. And the people, listen, my down deep desire is to handle it a completely different way. And it would be handled. And I know a lot of police officers who feel the same way. And it's because you can't let that anarchy and violence go there. It's the politicians that are allowing that, guys like Ted Wheeler and Mayor Lightfoot of Chicago and de Blasio, and people are vilifying the police and they're tacitly encouraging this kind of lawlessness. It always turns on you. It's going to turn on them when they go for their house. You can't be woke enough. They're going to come for you at some point in time because, this isn't about Black Lives Matter. Of course, Black Lives Matter. Asian lives matter. White lives matter. Green lives matter. Life matters, and we should be talking about that and talking about the real violence and things happens to people. The number of people, police brutality. Okay, if you're concerned about that, wonderful. Put more money into the departments. Work more on training officers, give more. I'm going through all kinds of training even right now as well. We're constantly training and how to deal with folks and so on and so forth. And community-based policing, great, wonderful. We do that in Pocatello. If you have a problem with the policing in your community, join the police force. Join. We could use the numbers and the people and certainly the community ties. Please join because we all need that safety and security that law and order provides. It's the number one thing that any civilization needs.
Yeah, and unfortunately, all this crap is leading police to retire early.
Of course, I wouldn't want to be a police officer in Idaho. Right. I mean, in Idaho, I do, and I am. I wouldn't want to be in Oregon, in Portland, in New York City. All my friends in NYPD, man, they want out. Yeah. They want out. I got a buddy who's, I don't know if he just did retire or not, because he had a little bit more time to go, and I think he might have just said, "I'm done," and I can't blame him. I'd be done. That disrespect, and and you know, it's just awful. And to be a target, it's terrible. And I don't know how that's a winning message for any politician who sort of stands in that way. It's not gonna help them. I'm praying in November it swings to President Trump and the House and Senate.
I have no
go
doubt.
Republican, because I'd like to see what President Trump could do with 4 years. After having 4 years under his belt, to get sort of settled in, to really understand some of the intricacies of how this government works and all the people who have been entrenched in government for so long, like a Nancy Pelosi, who's been there, a Joe Biden, who's been there for 50 years, and suddenly, we need to change this. You built the system. Let an outsider come in, change the system. That's what they're all reacting to that. I'd love to see what happens if you got 4 years like that, really understanding the job now.
See, this is 2021. I am forecasting the future right here.
I hope and pray, because I think that'd be the best thing for our country.
I have no doubt. But as far as going back to that, I think they're what they are trying to do is set up a Palestinian-Israeli view on things, right? Like every Palestinian has an AK-47 in their house, but they're like, send the children out with rocks to throw at the Israelis. And then when the Israelis are getting, hit with deadly weapons, they shoot back, and then they're the Goliath against the Palestinian David. That's what they're trying to do in Portland, right? They're throwing frozen water bottles, and then what are they going to say? Oh, we just threw water.
Trying to decline this.
Well, your time, you're over the half an hour you promised.
Oh!
So.
I gotta go. I gotta take my kid to the dentist right now.
All right. Let's take this. We plan to sing "Happy Birthday" to you tomorrow, right?
That's tomorrow. Well,
not
yeah,
necessary, but my viewers don't want to hear me sing, so I do apologize for that.
I'm not sure I want to hear you sing. Let's be honest.
Dean, super. I mean, 1,000 thanks for coming on. 1,000
Super's
thanks
good
for everything you've helped out with. I don't want to hold you up anymore. God bless you, my brother. If you can come back on anytime, just let me know.
Love to.
All right, brother. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Mike.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Dean Cain. What a great guest. I'm going to go ahead and play that video one more time before we nope out of here. And then I'll be back later for a something. Thanks, everybody, for being here. God bless you all. Where's my video? I can't find my video. I'm so bad at this. Again, Dean Cain has agreed to do another awesome 25 copies of the Dean Cain signed American Avenger cover. So far one has sold. If you want to get in there, go to maga7.com. Link is in the description. Please do get on down there. Otherwise, you can just get that cover up here at the pick cover tier. Once again, Dean Cain, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everybody for being here. God bless you. And did I miss a super chat? Let me scroll up here real quick. Next DNQ Nadler as Penguin, says Dennis. Don said, Dean, can you please say hi to my wife? I'm sorry, Don. Dean had to go. I kept him over his time. So apologies. Anyone else I miss? Liana Perez for $5 says, see you soon in Clarksburg. When will Hate Among Us be released? And congrats. Happy early birthday. Look for a surprise on Twitter tomorrow. Leanne P 1975. Sorry about that, Leanne. But again, he was gracious enough to stay overtime, and so thankful for him being a part of this project, signing the comics, promoting me on Twitter, promoting Magnificent 7 on Twitter. And we're just going to go out with the commercial one more time. So thanks once again to everybody being here. I'm going to mute myself and see you guys later. Like, subscribe, and share. God bless.
The artist of DC's injustice. The year 2021. President Donald J. Trump is sworn in at his second inauguration. Those who love America celebrate the victory, while those who oppose this great nation melt down.
I've got you, sir. Call the Minty. We need...
The Magnificent Seven.
Priority is the children, the most vulnerable among us.
Strange Animal.
Mostly elderly white people, it looks like. We're kneeling on the ground with our hands up.
Shap Hero.
Man can't even enjoy a meal now. We got a bunch of bums running into the restaurant. So forget the glass and stuff.
Dr. Savage.
The Journal today published a searing piece about the coming exodus of
The Ingrahammer.
No, actually, I do. I split my skull open and I take half of it out and I put it behind my back.
El Rushbo.
Take you seriously as someone who wants to be involved in public conversation.
Deadhead.
If you ever need to find it, all you have to do is look up.
And Dean Cain as the American Avenger. The Magnificent Seven. Brought to you by Mike S. Miller, the artist of DC's Injustice Gods Among Us and Game of Thrones. Magnificent Seven. The culture war starts here.
Because we're going to turn it around, and we're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.